The volatility has already showed up this week, 3 weeks into the Iran war and conflict that is spreading throughout the Middle East pretty quickly with no signs of slowing down. And we are anticipating the climax of this war, conflict, whatever you want to call it, where we have to do what's necessary to open up the Strait of Hormuz. In my opinion, this is what brings us down for another low for XRP in the broader markets. And so I'm going to title this update $1 XRP Warning. Please do not hold me to a prediction that XRP is going towards or going to hit $1. I'm saying that it's going towards $1 for another low that could come in at that level we already went to of $1.10, maybe $1.20, right? We might not make it all the way down to $1, but I want to put out this video. I want to get the warning out there. Let me know in the comments down below whether you agree or disagree with my analysis, but I'm just here to give you guys the best analysis on current events, financial markets, and tell you how I'm positioned. You guys let me know whether you agree or disagree, and I appreciate your support. Let's get right on into it. Stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell. We're going to have a full breakdown on the private credit crisis, but we just saw this one come across the news. Apollo caps investor withdrawals from their flagship private credit fund. So we've already seen issues showing up for Blackstone. We've seen them for BlackRock, the largest asset managers in the world. And there's been over half a dozen players in the space that have had to limit withdrawals from their funds. And some have actually decided to go above their quarterly cap, because a lot of these funds are capped at 5% per quarter. So if everybody wants out same quarter, it's not happening. You're going to be lucky to get 5%, or like some firms are doing, they're paying out the 5% if that's their limit, and then they're covering the additional difference with their own cash, right? Because they don't want to spread the fear and uncertainty and doubt about their funds, about their management. And so instead of taking that hit and saying, hey, we can't pay out redemptions this quarter, we're limited at 5%, they're saying, we'll pay you the 5% out and we're going to cover the difference. But that's not everybody. And this is Apollo. And what's funny is we've seen a tour of all of these fund managers recently going around saying mostly everything's okay. Right? They're not saying that it's perfect and that there's not going to be some issues. And like Jamie Dimon says, a couple cockroaches are going to show up. But they're trying to urge the market to stay calm. I'm not calm with this whole issue. And I think that the private credit crisis gets worse. So like I said, stay tuned. I'm going to do a full breakdown on the private credit crisis, what got us here, where we're at, and what to expect next. That video will be dropping later this week. But let's get bullish. I know you guys want to get bullish. We got something good right here. This is U.S. Senator Bill Cassidy saying that it is important for America to be in the driver's seat on digital assets for both our economy and our national security. That's why I'm pushing to advance my bill to bring our crypto tax rules into the 21st century and make it easier for Americans to use digital assets without outdated barriers. Now, this bill, the one he's referencing, I don't know if it has a name for it yet, but it's the one that they have co-sponsored with Senator Cynthia Lummis. It was introduced in September 2025, and it is commonly referred to as the bill to modernize tax rules for cryptocurrency and digital assets. This is the one where they want to make any transaction that's less than, it was 600, now they're talking about $300 or $200 transactions. Anything less than that would not be a taxable event. Okay, so we'll see what the final version ends up being, but Senator Bill Cassidy pushing this forward. This ends double taxation on mining and staking, parity with traditional financial assets for rules for lending, wash sales, mark-to-market, and allowing charitable contributions of crypto at market value deduction. So this bill, a step in the right direction. We would just assume that we get rid of the IRS completely, right? We could have that conversation. The IRS, the Federal Reserve, etc. That would be ideal. But in the meantime, a step towards transactions under $200 to $300, not a taxable event. That's going to help on bring mass adoption, right? To get merchant retailers to start to accept cryptocurrency. If they're not having to report taxes on taking in $200 to $300 of XRP or Bitcoin, they might actually make that available. right? Because there's been some hesitancy. There was a 2023 PricewaterhouseCoopers study that found that 40% of potential users aren't using cryptocurrency because of the tax compliance. So we would love to see this passed, a step in the right direction, and still work to be done on the Clarity Act. But the Clarity Act combined with the Genius Act, and then you get something like this that clarifies the taxation, we'll have the full setup here of regulatory clarity in the United States of America finally in 2026. Hopefully it gets done this year. Now, as far as adoption, this is going to explode. People don't realize how big this next headline is. The New York Stock Exchange, ARCA, and American have removed the $25,000 contract position limit on options tied to 11 Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs, including BlackRock's IBIT and Fidelity's FBTC. So this change allows institutions to scale positions up to 250,000 contracts or more, facilitating advanced hedging and leverage strategies that could accelerate crypto inflows into traditional markets. So basically, right now, firms are capped at 25,000 in contract exposure. Removing this cap allows them to 10x or more those positions for options. Now, early ETF options trading in 2024, when it first went live, saw 1.9 billion in notional value on launch day with 80% calls. And so as this goes live and we go into the next bull run, right, those inflows and what we're expecting here on this next bull run, it's going to be truly incredible to see, right? After going through the depths of this bear market, for those of you guys that are new here, we've done this in crypto a few times already. The 2018 bear market, the 2022-23 bear market, and then you come back, just like a phoenix rises from the ashes, all of the inflows return. And we got a glimpse of that, right? I think you got a sneak preview. We still have the conversation of, did this, bull run end? Sure, because we dropped 70% for XRP. We dropped by, quite a bit, almost 50%. Yeah, I guess that would truly be 50% from over 120,000 to 60,000 for Bitcoin. That's a 50% drop. So yeah, we're in a bear market, but is it part of a bigger extended cycle? That's kind of the question. And when you see this type of rulemaking taking place at the New York Stock Exchange, doesn't sound like a big deal for a lot of people that, this headline hasn't even been seen yet. But this is kind of the underpinning of the next bull run that leads to just significant inflows coming in. So it is on the way, mass adoption, regulation, and significant inflows. In the meantime, there are very bearish data points in front of us, and it's been very bearish price action, something that I am taking advantage of. While the rest of the space is scared to be long XRP, I am incredibly long XRP. I have a massive XRP long opened up, and I also have 85% of my portfolio is XRP spot. So I'm long XRP with my spot position, but then I have an additional XRP long that makes up about 5-6% of my portfolio, bringing my overall XRP exposure and all of it being long exposure to about 90% of my portfolio. So that's my bias, that's my positioning. But a lot of people are scared to be long XRP right now, with XRP open interest dropping over 60% from the peak. XRP open interest has fallen from 2.6 billion peak to roughly 900 million to $1 billion in early 2026. Prices track the deleveraging move, sliding from 320 in July to around $139 today. Everybody's scared to go long. And you can see this at the funding rate. Basically, how expensive or cheap is it to fund your XRP long position? Right now, it's really cheap. Everybody's scared. Nobody wants to be in this trade, which has me very excited, has me very bullish, and has me loading up. So not only am I in those positions, I'm actually looking to add to those positions, which brings us to the title of today's update, the $1 XRP warning. Now, we already went down to $1.10 for XRP. And my thesis has remained since, even before the war, and definitely after this war has started, that we're going to go revisit those levels again. 60,000 for Bitcoin, about $1.20 to $1 for XRP. Now, what I love to see is that when TA gurus and real experts, when it comes to technical analysis, when they have similar targets and expectations for the market, that makes me feel good. That makes me feel comfy in my position. Because this rally that we've kind of had And, we've had a few bounces up to a $1.50, $1.60 for XRP over the past couple months, has definitely faked out a lot of people. And I have said this whole time that I'm not buying it. And so let's get into that TA. I got the twins, Cassie Trades and Terra Precision Trades on X, the sisters. They are twins, I believe. They got us the technical analysis update on XRP, and they're seeing what I see, which is that we should not be getting too excited. Cassie says, don't get tricked by this bounce on XRP. We're breaking below that consolidation trend line we've been watching for weeks and starting to see it act as resistance. Exactly what we talked about in Friday's live stream. That's a pretty strong sign we're likely in the final wave down towards the 87-cent support. On the 15-minute chart, I'm watching this current move up as a subwave 2 bounce. I've gotten a really clean RSI trend line. As long as that holds, this wave 2 bounce should keep going. But when that breaks, that's when I'm expecting the next wave down, the wave 3, to kick in. And this wave 3, this is the one, right? Short term, she's watching a $1.40 to a $1.41 for wave B, and then 151 to 155 for wave C, or for the C, I should say. Nothing has changed, and she's talking about the wave 2 up. The wave 2 up, short-term targets are a $1.40 to a $1.41, and wave C of that wave 2 could take us a $1.51 to a $1.55. This is Elliott wave technical analysis. For those of you guys who are wondering what I'm talking about with the waves, 1, 2, 3, ABC. This is Elliott wave technical analysis. But she says nothing has changed in the bigger picture. Either we head down to the 87-cent level or we somehow break above and hold 165 resistance, stick to this plan to remove emotion. And that's what I've been saying about the war. Either we're going to do the climax of this war, we're going to bomb like we haven't bombed yet, we're going to open back up the Strait of Hormuz, whatever it takes, and that's going to bring in this low. That's going to bring in $1 XRP or $1.20, somewhere in that range, and maybe we even stretch down to the 87-cent level like she's talking about here. Her sister's basically tracking the same analysis. Just like on Bitcoin, we're watching for a wave 2 of 5 retrace targeting the 618 resistance at a $1.51. Remember, this correction could trap a lot of bulls and is a bearish retrace. That's what I'm worried about. That's why I'm putting out this warning. Now, I don't count up the waves. I don't do Elliott wave technical analysis, which is why we're bringing in the sisters. And she says, we know what wave could come next. Wave 3 has targets as low as a double bottom at 112. There's that double bottom I'm talking about. And then still likely and valid is that 87-cent level at the macro support. I'll be adjusting fib levels accordingly as it develops and keep you guys updated. I have buy orders all the way from front running $1.20 all the way to front running $1. If we go sub $1, I'll also be a buyer at those levels too. And I'm probably in the next week or so going to place a buy order under $1 at about the 90-cent range to front run this 87-cent support. I'm being honest, transparent, and I could get these orders might not be filled. This war could end. We could have peace, war ends, and we start pumping again. That's fine because I'm already positioned. This is a very volatile market, very manipulated market, and you can't be completely on the sidelines, which is why I have so much exposure. Yes, you could say I've been catching a falling knife. It's a painful one, but as long as you don't bleed out, we will survive, we will come back. And as we've highlighted at the start of this episode here, we have bullish fundamentals that, and tailwinds that carry us to new all-time highs later this year in 2026. So this is an opportunity. The $1 XRP warning is not meant to be like FUD or FOMO or clickbait. It's just a warning that we probably, and it is my expectation, going to go back to around $1. And I'm telling you that I'm going to be buying the hell out of it. Excuse my language. You guys let me know in the comments down below. Am I right? Am I wrong? Huge shout out to the sisters for providing the technical analysis for today's update. And I'm seeing the same thing. I might not have the waves and the fibs down as perfect as they do. But I haven't been trusting these bull trap rallies we've been getting. I'm not going to trust this one. And I am expecting our troops arrive here on Friday. Thousands of troops in the region. The next escalation, the climax of this conflict. Buy orders are ready. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Appreciate your support. Please help us out by liking this video, sharing it out far and wide, and all of our community resources are available at zachrector.com. I am going to plug our sponsor real quick, I Trust Capital, and let you know that when you use my link down below, you can get a $100 funding bonus. Remember, I Trust Capital has you covered. Whether you're looking to roll over your 401k or retirement funds into an IRA, or you're just looking for free institutional grade custody in their premium custody account, or if you're looking to set up that treasury account to hold crypto or precious metals for your business, your trust, your nonprofit, you got an LLC for your holdings, they can help you right here with their premium custody treasury account. Love it. So we have them linked up down below. Use my link to get a $100 funding bonus. And a huge shout out to our sponsor, I Trust Capital, for supporting the channel. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you in the next one. God bless. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.